Nearly half of Americans support the idea of a government plan sponsored by U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders that would guarantee a job for every American in the U.S. government. Hey, everybody, I'm Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show, which airs weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time on News Talk 95.1 FM and 790 a.m. KFYO. A story from MSNBC, nearly half of all Americans would be in favor of a universal government job creation program, according to a poll commissioned by the Huffington Post. Out of nearly 1,000 polled respondents, 47% would either somewhat support or strongly support a law guaranteeing a job to every American adult, with the government providing jobs for people who can't find employment in the private sector. The Huffington Post commissioned the poll in response to a January 3rd Rolling Stone piece called 5 Economic Reforms That Millennials Should Be Fighting For. But this wasn't, by the way, the only the only poll that was done on this. 46% of people in a Rasmussen survey that came out today said that they would support a government-created program that would guarantee a government job to all Americans, anybody who wanted a job. It would guarantee that job for all Americans. The sad thing about this is it's not the government's job to make sure that you work. And by the way, the Democratic Party has done a hell of a job encouraging people not to work. Bernie Sanders is out there saying, "Oh, well, we want to create jobs out there so that way people who want a job can find a job." Listen, we already have that in the United States. The sad thing is you just have a lot of Americans who don't want to work. They don't want the kind of jobs that are maybe offered. Maybe they think they're too good to work at a restaurant. Maybe they think they're too good to work construction. Maybe they think they're too good to work in the oil fields. I can tell you this, in Texas, there are numerous stories about the down in Midland and other places of people not being, of businesses, corporations not being able to hire enough people to work in the oil fields. It has nothing to do with Americans not being able to find a job. It has a lot to do with Americans are just plain lazy. And a lot of Americans would rather sit on the couch and suck off the government teat than go to work in the oil field or in a field somewhere where it's hot and sweaty and they're working with their hands, they're on their feet all day. They would rather not do that. They'd rather sit at home and play Xbox or PlayStation and get a government check. And I guarantee you this. If you were to propose the idea of a guaranteed government income, okay, a guaranteed government income versus a guaranteed government job, most people would probably pick the guaranteed government income because they don't want to go to work. We already have so many jobs throughout the United States that are available, but you may have to move in order to find them. You may have to do something that isn't exactly in your life goal to have that job. We have guaranteed jobs. They're called businesses. It's called capitalism in the United States. It's not the government's job to provide you a job. It is your job as a decent human being or just a human being to get off your ass and go and work. That's your job. It's not up to the U.S. government to bail you out for being too lazy. I could understand if we are at, if no businesses in the United States were hiring, I could understand that. But that's not the case. You can go and find a job. You just have to work a little bit harder sometimes at doing jobs that you may not want. And hey, newsflash, government jobs aren't always the greatest jobs in the world, though they are a little bit harder to be fired from. Bernie Sanders' idea of a government-funded job or a government job that would pay $15 an hour plus health benefits and everything else that's guaranteed to every American, it's really a shame, and it's really a shame that 46 to 47% of people think it's a good idea. Again, it's not the government's job to provide you with work. It's your job to go out and find work. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings, 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 a.m. KFYO.